because my boss had given me some crazy little silly appraisal score, having caused me to train one of the new project managers in the team. And that woman got a better appraisal score than me. How would I know? I happened upon the appraisals on her desk one day when I was walking past them. I didn't plan to. I wanted to get tissue from a colleague's desk. I wanted to get tissue from a colleague's desk. And I just so happened to glaze upon the appraisals that were chilling on her desk. And the uppermost one was of the chick that I trained. And her score was higher than mine. Couldn't help but look at the rest. And everybody had done better than me. I'm like, really? You make me train a woman and then you give her a better appraisal score than me? You are making me look like the most underperforming employee of yours. Yeah. New recruit. Y'all know those kinds of bosses. If I am going to endure that level of insanity, I've been speaking about humility the past couple of days. If I'm going to endure that level of insanity again, just for the sake of having a job and hunkering down, I don't want to be patronized by that silly boss being a family member. I literally do not want that to be a family member. That kind of rubbish. I took it to God. I prayed. That boss, I prayed. Psalm 37. Do you think God did not hear my prayer back then? Under that kind of leadership. But this time in a family member. Yes, like guys, there is something that my cousins are trusting. The dreams I am getting, that the way it is that they are acting in they have tethered me. But I feel confident. Don't I something about feeling confidence? There is something about tepiling. We understand that one is not to lean on nothing but ditoro. Mara, ditoro takanna, they come to pass, and on top of that, they're warning, they're prophetic. They're prophetic. There is something that my cousins, especially the ones that are my age group, yeah. I keep getting dreams where by controller every facet of my life. One dream, a cousin of mine, the little sister of the other mongrel beast that keeps on monitoring me. My religion. I ended up being like Kelly Kumalo. Y'all know Kelly Kumalo, right? Kelly Kumalo, South Africans. Those of you who are not South Africans, is a musician in this country. And she is I don't know if Otwa sees it, but she is definitely into ancestral worship, but she mixes it with Christianity to a point where she sings gospel music on stage wearing underwear. Wearing like, what do they call this? Like a swimming costume like Beyonce. She will sing a gospel track in like swimwear on stage. That's Kelly Kumalo. Yeah. In my dream, I was busy following the tutelage of Kelly Kumalo. And I understood that to be the causal inspiration into my bones by this cousin. Tethering me, ascertaining that I follow in the footsteps of Kelly Kumalo. First and foremost, Kelly Kumalo needs to follow in my footsteps, okay? Because if the woman wants to be truly a servant of God, she needs to put some clothes on. She needs to abandon ancestral worship and then be an ambassador for Christ only. Otherwise, nobody trusts her in the kingdom of heaven. Because she's not a true convert to Christianity. On the day Kelly abandons ancestors and the swimming costume on stage, and then maybe only just starts to sing gospel music, maybe we'll take her seriously. But for now, she's just another person in Jafela that's mixing Jesus like any other South African with their own preferred spirituality. And here it is that I've got a cousin family member thinking that why would they have that brazenness? Something is making them feeling that they still have control over me. Something is making them feel like they got this, where I am concerned. And for me, it's like the only thing that can give them that level of bravery is if they trust somebody to handle me. Is if they imagine they've got a handler, someone that calls them or that talks to them or that they feel comfortable is going to nicely keep me in check. So what do? All night, Karabela, guys. And from the Karabela, Busiu Fela. Kita shebela Supergirl, kita shebela some video on YouTube and only sleep when I'm feeling comfortable. 5:30, 6 in the morning. And for the past 3 mornings, I've been waking up on some tongues. I'm wasting time just like I'm still in a fast. I was supposed to stop my fast on the 20th or on the 19th, of August. I have decided to take it to the 30th. It's currently the 28th of August. The reason I'm in a fast is because I want to get rid of Nto Eng Threatenang. There's something that's chilling on my chest that has made it impossible for me to actually stop fasting. To successfully stop fasting. I'm going to stop I fast. Lady 30th August since I a breakthrough. And crash up, I feel as if though this fasting is what has caused this person to delay the process of my employment at her organization. Why delay? o senya nako o taka mantwa haye and o right to do that because I don't think God wants me there and neither do I want to go there. Angimthembi. I don't trust her. Batho ko heso hae bane ba tlo tshepa magetla a mosadi yona nna he yena ke motshepe because I ke ba tshepe batho ko heso ba busy ba ngabela dikoloi ke etsa message. I don't trust them. I do not trust them from a bar of soap. I spoke the other day about how it is that they look at me as a flight risk. And I said I would never flee if I don't have a reason to. I would never run away if I don't have a reason to. But you see, it's about control, ownership and control. Disrespect of my adulthood. Disregard. Ko MTN, banteletse wankutwa. Sarure hurre. Bantella ba tlogela o bua le nna ba bua le mme wa ka. Nka re nna ke ngwana ko crèche. O leng unruly. You gotta go through mom. O fitla sekolong one day mme wa ha o fitlile ko officing wa bitswa ka intercom. Principal is like, Karabo, come to the office. Next thing your mom is there and they're discussing you in front of them, talking about you like you're not in the room. That's how it's been for me for the past decade. I get spoken to and about in I'm not in the room. Ke sebwa ke batho ba ba tona ba ba golo le nna ke le motho le mogolo wa nkutla in and of myself ke godile mara ke bua nka ke buiwa nka re ke ngwana. You know how kids get gossiped and spoken about, smack about, and for like balleting. The child is in the room and adults are talking about how mara tshepo witsi nna ke tsebore ke iketseng ke mozamme mara witsi ha o ntse le busy high school. The other day ke motho tse a le ko morao wa ntlu a etsanga ke tsebe mara ne ke nkga ke ne ke utlwa nkare ke nkga mozolo ne nkare ke matekwane mara zanka e thola ke fela nkare we patile kana kwa teng tshepo is either in the room or o ko kamoreng ya high and can overhear everything the parents are saying. He can overhear everything. That kind of stuff happens with children, y'all. Kids that are kind of way ba tswileng tseleng. Hey mara Karabo nna ke tsebore ke tseng ha ke bua lena ha buiwege. Nothing works bathong ho neng re mozama. The intervention ga di sebetse ga ke sa tsebore ke ketseng wetsi malume ngwanona nna mara hae bathong a ke kopa le ntlhobogeng ngwana o ke fila nka rena ko molahla ko mo disown. The way antsa tsola pele ka teng o tlo buiwa jwalo o le teng ko ka moreng o le teng ko dining room ko loungeong or at least o le ko ka moreng la ntse monyako o kwetswe wa utlwa everything. Why o seba ho jwang when you're a teenager kunzima guys futhi uyasaba ukuthi uzoshambokwa uzotumpa uzotrapwa lebanta anything. You are scared that you're going to get beaten or towards a fella like Arma skips are shaking because everybody's talking about you like you're the baddest criminal in South Africa. Mara that time Tsapoteng ona le 29 Tsapoteng ona le 27 Tsapoteng is a whole 30-year-old man ka nnete o tlo bua Tshepo le nkgono nkare motho ona le 16. Yeah, that's been my life 10 years of rubbish njalo. And the disquieting thing about my situation as well is that angihlebwa mina kabuhlungu nje ngabazali or abadala nje kuphela ngihlebwa these days ngamakhazi, basically my peers. Yo guys, disrespect na yo peers like di cherries le di out ke khudlele tsona di babunu tse ke khudlele tsona la nkutlo di peretse tse senang maitseo tse latlhegetsweng ke manto. So basically they're as good as put it down. Nkhule nabo abanye meng ba shaya esikolweni crash up, not abanye bonke meng ba shaya esikolweni menguyimi academic ever. I was responsible crash up yibo abazali babo, some of them would come to githi bangibuza ukuthi umntanami uhwe. I had a cousin ntatwatenge ke haga afika. I remember ne ke borele jwang that day ne le bosiu ka 9 or 9:30 or whatever. Ellie McBeal. It was my favorite show. I tuned in every single Monday without a fail. I didn't miss it for a thing. Ellie McBeal, up and down this road, walking the light. I was in the middle of Ellie McBeal Lankutra. Hule monate, and that was before it was in the days of programmed television. If you miss a spot, you miss a spot. You go to the bathroom, ka break, ka commercial, ka advert. Otherwise, you are gonna miss out. No pausing, no Netflix, no video on demand. Just you better catch it on time. And there's no repeats for some shows. Ellie McBeal was one of those, no repeats. If at all you miss 5 seconds, what happened? What did Ellie do? What did Richard do? What did Richard say? What did Ling say? Yeah, I used to love Ellie McBeal. I loved it. And it was in the middle of Ellie McBeal. And that wateng ke ha kokota mo munyakong. Fitla ko yeso kere malume ba thongwetsang monana. Mme wa ka ke antjwe go Karabo ke o ka tsamaya le malume motho ke o hayo wa fitla gae ka weekend. Weekend ka ofela e fitile ha fa tla gae jwanong ke Monday ina tshwantsa yesekolong hae. So now the dad, because I was best friends with the stupid woman, went and fetched me ko yeso ke shebetse Ellie McBeal hole monate. I had to go and miss the last 30 minutes of Ellie McBeal. Cause nesantse rona re yo ko sprayed view ko boyfriend ya cousin mo a dulang teng holo mo botsa hore anare why o habarile ngwana wa ntatomo. The boyfriend like fitla ko ntlong ya teng. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, I was so embarrassed. But like the dad asked me to basically bring you here because his daughter has not been home Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday now. And the dad is wondering, this dude was like, I don't know what you're talking about, Karabo. In and of himself, he was a teenage boy, well, 19. In and of himself, he was like, Angazi Baba, I'm sorry, namangamboni weekend yonke. So basically here it is that this derelict chick, ke latilwe nako heso, ke shebetse Ellie McBeal on a school night. Kalo driver all the way to Spruit View, where some 19-year-old boy who also stayed with his parents was not sure where his girlfriend is at. And then I went back and then driven back home. The intervention that was staged now against this chick. And unabuwa jwanong a sebiwa ke batswadi hore motho o tswile tseleng. O tswa kae? Wa o sa tla hae. Ka nako teng motho teng o tshwana le nna o na le 15. Motho teng at the same time she's like me, she's also 15 years old, mara ha robala gae 4 days. Ha robala gae. Ntate teng wa mmata all over the show, boyfriend ha itse boroko kae. Nna however, as Karabo, responsible academic esikolweni, the biggest infringement that she achieves is being late by 5 minutes every day. Udlalo got detention because they're late ka 5 minutes, but really that's the most that Karabo is doing in these streets. Now I am trusted to be home because that girl, I get ke wa go ha ke tswe di auto ha ke so tsebe le the inside of a nightclub e loka jwang. Mara this chickie is my best friend, so seeing as she's my best friend, that thing obviously o tlo ipotsa ka wa obviously Karabo wa tsebo gore boyfriend that thing dula kae. And frankly I wouldn't have even known or boyfriend that thing e dula kae if I did not for one holiday season ke mo chakela ko ha bona be re ya ko Leon Day lo go chakela engwe cousin, and then we got to see where he stays. That was the only reason I would have known, otherwise I never ke tsebo gore this guy dula kae. Mtatwa teng ke hang travelisa nna ke go all the way to the East Rand ke dula ko Naturin some derelict wayward child ke ena ona buiwa a certain way. So jwanong di cousins tse jwalo batho ba jwalo, people that historically ne le bona go stage wang di interventions concerning ne go latwa Karabo a shebetse Ellie McBeal to basically navigate ntatwa teng hore a ye ko Spruit View. Nna ne ke latiwa ke le the trustworthy one. These days go buiwa nna le the same woman, the same cousin ke a se bua le ena, the same cousin ke buiwa le he batho ho sebwa ke di cherry tse di sa gone bloma ko ntlong o dina le 15 di autisa teng le tsona di sa tsebe go di kae. Nna mara ke a sebiwa setse ke graduated past the age of 18. I'm beyond 18 years of age. Has I ke soka nna ke sotla moka ke mosokodisa ka bashimane or anything of that nature. Ke gole gale ke bala ke kena sekolo ke sa lofi ke sa banke gale ke le responsible lankutlo. And these cousins of mine ba tseba di autisa le di cherry tsa teng di a tseba hore ne le nna o lo no tla o bora goody two shoes. People with that kind of knowledge of me, now that ke latlhagetswe ke mosebetsi nna se ke sebwa ke bona cherry twe sa eng hae ona le 15 fela le out ya teng sa tsebe go kae ke a sebwa ka je ko kwena le di cousins tse ding sengiyakhulunywa manje ngalabantu guys ngalabantu dudes. Ngara I'm the derelict, I'm the one o nang the issue o boyfriend that teng sa tsebe go kae. I am the one. Like the way that people keep talking about me, it's like I am some miscreant derelict kid that can't stay home. O dula tsubileng patchi ale high ale blaze matlhogaga ale red bloodshot cause oh high man treat that way. Yo guys nanka se khone I can't. Yeah, okay, I've charged my phone. Yes, I was saying, y'all know what it's like to work for that boss that you can't ever do anything right in the eyes of. I've got these cousins that skule sonke with the same age, peers, give or take, couple of years younger, couple of years older, okay, on the come up. We're all either late Gen X or millennials, okay, and they thoroughly think that they can treat me like I'm a teenager among them. That's unruly usuleng. Some of whom have got these like horrible rap sheets when they were on the come up. Yibo, that parents were forever staging interventions concerning. Angaze mina ngistage even a single intervention as a kid on the come up. Kodwa laba littered across these streets like cadavers strewn on the floor after a multi-car vehicle pile-up on the highway. Yeah, have been getting dealt those kinds of staged intervention bad blows. Evidence became clear. It was stark, it manifested later on in life. Who here was the 1 or 2 kids that were not constantly being staged interventions on behalf of Onabora, Harehola? It became clear because she became successful. I did well. Basically, it paid off to be a good kid on the come up. And then sabotage happens from Yeda Timbuktu, di Karabo, all different kinds of things. My name gets reviled, dragged through the mud, following which, then, thanks to, listen to this, unemployment. Thanks to me losing a job, I then get treated ingati I am some child on behalf of which kwamele ku stage way intervention. Kutlengwa ukuthi mina ngina lubuatla. Ba re nna ke na lubuatla. Lazy. Yo. Kaze why would I go mina ngyo adopta ukutswafa? Sengidala kangaka. Ngina 30 yonke ephelele bese ngizo decide ukuthi ngizotswafa all over random Sunday. Mengatswafi in high school. Ngisatswafi in the beginning of my career ko varsity. Azanka tswafa. Mara one day nje fela ka tsogela ko tswafa. Kena le 30. They called me lazy. And now they're the grown-ups now in the family, right? Ke badala sebana bantwana babo now. They've got their own children now. They've got their own children. So instead of focusing on bana babona, in whose lives they must stage interventions, in whose lives they must snatch out the marijuana stick from their lips. That are busy fornicating at the age of 17. That need to go and deal with their kids the way that our parents dealt with us when we were out of line. But instead of focusing on a person on a 40. They are focusing on a person that is 40 years old. Go to Grand Shop to be dealt a black blog. I'm go to engwe at so 40, a 40-year-old spinster, and they are still out here calling me something is handler. Controlling guys in Bantuni so bota gafunga be. Like people, y'all need to stop doing this like witchcraft. Chancele bon horona lebo tata man. Even in bokotsi habo tloko hampe kaditlar. Halibon la hlanya. Hali to be the matekona asatan. Halibon horona is something very severely wrong with grabbing ikazi yako in tanga yako. Umtolengana nawe. Nikulen nonke same age. Hey? And then go treat that person ngathi uzalwe from mpa ya gago. O tlo treata motho o ileng thaka ya hae nkare o motswetse. He batho o tlo treata a whole grown woman, guys. Yazi ukusangana kwabantu abathakathayo like ngwaye akekghoni me I can't. Ukudila no shame. Akekghoni. I can't deal. That's the problem with witchcraft. All this competition between peers. Bese uzothatha umuntu olingana nawe. Give or take niyadlulana ngama age, maybe 2-3 years older or younger. My bottom line is, she's a Gen Z, you're a Gen Z. Or she's a Gen X, you're a Gen X. She's a millennial, you're a millennial. You're in the same generation. Or woto mo tshwara hampe, jaka ha o tshwere ngwana ha o mo monelang hampe, o mo fetang ka 25 years kaofela. Mara weekendse cherry enyane, jeka ngwana wa le monyane cause a batlo gol. They are treating me the way that a narcissistic mother would treat their girl children. Competing to the point of sabotage. Yazin angandaba nani ne? Go on. Lelo sabotage as much as le batla o sabotage ha ka teng. Mara nna ha ebane ke tlo treatwang ka re ke phofolo go cooperating. Ke ntse ke dutse ko stulong ke itshebeletsa ga thata. Ebe boss ya ka intreata nna nka ra ke tse next. Nkampane ya ba motho sa motsebeng wa ko ese wa nkutlo. Ga thwe better the devil you know than the one that you don't know. Mara in this instance, better the devil I don't know than the one that I do know. Ga ko so tlwa nna jaka ha ke sutlwe ke di boss tsa gale. 2005, 6, 7, 8. Since ne ke qala career yaka ko corporate South Africa ha ko so tlwa ke batho ba ko heso the way ke sutlweng ke di boss ke gole. Nkampane ka go tlela back to boss entenang enketsang gore ke lle on top of some 37 because modimo wa anketsa so o slega msadi ona mara ke le goanyana le leng e lo tlang ko family nya ha ile sena taba le nna ha go treatwa botlhoko ha kana ka batho ke batho ba ke go tleng le bona ke tla le chika go le mokusha kom banana le dicheritse he batho. At some point, ne o robetse ka ofela mo mpetong mma rona re chikela taba ke mang out of the 3 of you ba rotetseng mpeto. Re chikiwa re tumpuwa re trapua ka ofela because re fitile ga re ditshila after game ya Chicago. Be ke tlo thitwa jwalo. Ke D Tiggins bathong lantela. Na proper. I told you that story sa cousin ya ka ne. Re latileng boyfriend that thing go spread view. Hore re tlo tlhaloganya gore ne le mang. O ne ba tswadi ba ntse ba le busy ba lla ka yena. Ha re gole. Mara ka jeko nna ke a sebwa ke the same people. Peers, lankutwa. That's what you'll get into. Hallelujah. My own peers and my cousins. Ditakatsaka. Millennials, just as I am a millennial. Gen X, we're Xennials. Let apart. Older millennials. That's what's good. Kitelwa ke bona bao. Re ditaka re ka gura same fight. Go be le fair fight. Mara ba batlo kena in a fair fight le nna cause ba tse bore ke tlo ba trapa. That's what's good. Khale ke ba trapa. Warning. I did well on the come up cause nele nna o itlhekileng. Nailenna was a banking skolo. Nailenna wa go rata dibuka. I was the one that was never rocking up komsebeting. Ke tshwere ira ke babalaze or ha ke kene ka Monday because ke tshwere ke babalaze. I was never that girl. I was never the one wa go ba irresponsible, guys. Never. Literally, that was never me. Mwaka na sa tsebo grandship what she had in a daughter. Ona sang na sang appreciate. My mom didn't appreciate what she had in a daughter. He bathong batswadi ba sotlega ka montle ka mo ke bana ba banyana ba busy ntse ba le all over the show. Di trap mate ha ba khone go itshwara. Wa nkutlo Mwaka nasna taba ka taba re ke itshwerile wa nkutlo. Nasna taba ka taba go ke bala e be ne ke a phasa go sekolong. Nasna taba ka taba go gae ke teng. Ne ke sna le curfew. The way ne ke le go ntlung ka teng. I didn't even have a curfew because it was expected hore ai ke re tla re Karabo o kae ka 7. Ha ke ka montle nna ke mo jarateng ke shebana le Popeye Doug ka matric since ne ke busy ke shebana le Popeye. That's me. Ooh, Doug, patty mayonnaise. Ooh, Doug, patty mayonnaise in matric. Cause ne ke sa le busy ka ntho tse bokete for bana as a child. I was just such a good kid, and the evidence of it manifest later on in life. Essentially, I reaped what I sowed. I sowed to education and I sowed to responsibility and discipline, and reaped a successful career. Even though the rug was pulled from underneath my feet by me having to drop out of varsity thanks to my mom not paying my fees, I nonetheless took myself back to school. Ka ipatalla di fees tsa ka nna tsa ko vitsi tsa part time ka nne ntse ke driver after mosebetsi go le botlhoko go le siere mara still I did it. I worked and the fruit was born. Mara batho ba ithuta boloi akere ba ithuta boloi ka dripiwa mara nna zang ka dripwa nna le ganyane tle kopa re-explaining situation ena ke feelang ka re we need to redefine it. Ga ka loyo nna ga ke loyege ke mzalwane modimo o mpiditse a re Karabo etla mo lifeng, follow me, take up your cross, latla yonke nto and follow me. Ka mo latella morao modimo batho ang phatsotlego jaka a guarantee le hore if anybody wants to live a life in me lo sotlege ke mo ke sotlegile ho botlhoko ke heart seer 24 hours a day ga gona phomolo it appears mara a ke pattern parcel le bo zalwane bo jaka ga ke filwe eternal life. Judgment thoma ka minaisa. Judgment begins with the Church of Jesus Christ. So this here long suffering, pain, destitution, ingati mina ngeshiyiwe nje, orphan spirit they call it. Part and parcel of the call, hey. Count the cost of being a disciple khatwe. Molentong la morena Jesu nna ke a tsho jwanong ke re bathong etle. Let's go bugang nna ke utlwe botlhoko ga kana and then imagine hore ke loilwe ga ka loywa nna ke jobo. Modimo o mphantwe e ke kupileng grandship eventually. Ko ba le bana ba bantle go phala ba bang kaofela mo strateng because I'm Job. Banyana ba ka ba bantsweng buka ofela, no daughters in the land will compare to Baga Jobo. That's what is given to Mzalwane that has endured successfully trauma, suffering, persecution in godliness. The Lord rewards long suffering, patience, delayed gratification. And just like Joseph, lanse ona le trauma, PTSD engwe ya mhlaba cause ba go kwazile in the back ba bo abuti ba hao. Modimo wa khona go go cause gore o lebale di gwazoms. The Lord prospers to cause you to forget the pain of your father's household and gives you a son by the name of Manasseh for those reasons. He gives you a wife and children and says, you are gonna be better because PTSD ain't jack in the kingdom of heaven. All of these psychologists with their post-traumatic stress disorder diagnoses, we will not, undiscover that as a true story. Bottom line is, you are not PTSD at the half time, it's 180 degrees. It's not the full 360. It's not the full story. Bottom line is, it's the trauma or the sorrow in the soul of a person that has been dealt a bad blow by repeated offenses on their bodies. But God knows how to completely heal a person from even that. Back to a state of tranquility and peace that never thought that they could overcome the pain of their father's household. Joseph had PTSD. That's what psychologists call it. God just calls it trauma. We post post betrayal syndrome. The Lord calls it after Joseph's brothers have happened. I happen. After Joseph's brothers have happened, and then happen again. God calls PTSD after Joseph's brothers. I am. Before Joseph's brothers, I am. Before Abraham was, I am. Before Joseph got thrown into slavery and stabbed in the back, I am. So Joseph is going to forget the pain of his father's household. So yeah, I will admit, I got PTSD because before Abraham was, Jesus is. And so here it is that as an Abraham, I'm chilling in a lot of sorrow, but Christ is. He was and is to come. And so therefore, that which is my PTSD, it'll fall because Modimo Onfanto, whatever it is that he is God, I get all omniscient. o tlo mfa something e tlo nkhoza ngore ke lebale ditweba tse di busy di parele keng letsang what are you doing and bona ukuthi ngukuhuki Karabo why le etsang ka re ha neng khopole why are you acting like I wasn't the one ona dutse ko still ko sekolong ke blomile ke sa banke ke sa anwe on the school playground why le acting ka re nna gale nje grandshop ke dropa bolo why ba itebatsa ke re bana le temporary memory loss bana le amnesia D1s trying to act as if dokudala mina ngiso atle no Una le something about what I tepileng guys in isne. There is something that my family is trusting in, and that's why ki loyo akabo tlhoko gakan. Ki tumpa ki ditlhare e utlwelang ne. I'm mzalwani me. I'm mzalwani lankutla. I'm mzalwani. Ki tla wale ka twang. I'm mzalwani. Akilo yegi mina. Akilo yegi lankutla. Akilo yegi akitawe na kisatani. Na kitawa fela ki Holy Spirit. So kopa le ska tlong borang na tlong lawyer ke be ke tsentse nna le batlo ke di etseng na ha ke Kelly Khumalo ke itse morena Jesu fela ha ke mixi ka my ancestors di dlosi but imo ba lona ha ke ba utlwisisi ke utlwisisa God fela leave me alone ntlogileng ha le sa batle le tlo bona di flames akere gale le dwetso mona mo strateng ho le utlwa di flames loko pantsho le di trata le di cul-de-sac loko pantsho le di yield sign le di robots the way loko pantsho le di strata ka teng ha modimo a le busy ka lona all e drama ke mozalwane ha ke lo yegi nang ke utlwa mara jeka ha le busy hakana ko le bontsha di flames ko entse ka tweng le segwa le sepedi setswana tso di kopane le o itse ke longtlogela bathong thapelo modimo etle wa respecta wa tlhompha wa rata it's a fragrance up his nostrils wa re rata modimo tle o re rata ka lerato le kotsi because on our behalf all le ravaza lo lotlhe le kopanelang kutla all le thuba ka ditlhogo le kopantsha ditlhogo ke tshloka lo kopana le skontiri strata cul-de-sac yield sign le roboto le pedestrian crossing ka fa lo kopana le yona because la tella so tshwantse le kopantshwe ka mabota le di trata lo kopana le di trata di cul-de-sac le di U-turn lo kopana le tsona hobane le tella ha botoka hampe mana mo strateng tshwantse le lo kopana le skontiri ha le tlo tella ha kana tle le tseba gore ke mang mo lifeng mara le nata but that's the thing the world of people that reward that which is evil will always positively reinforce wickedness at the peril of the righteous but we are a people of a different status we're different even re belangrik because if it wasn't for rena gospel never ever proliferated manto a rena a thabile jaaka di penguins tsa ko happy feet because we proliferator lentswe la morena Jesu mara jaaka ha le tletse ka disrespect hakana ha le tlhomphe motho everybody mom katweni mona o up for grabs because of Luna le tshotse lonka anything ele batlang engwe nthola enka fela Luna le bogile agere ditikenza nightmare let's so Luna mara nna ha ke le tsabe ke tsaba Jesu lo itse di flames lo di bona millo yo tuka tuki jaka ha millo e tlo tuka ko di heleng one day waitse king lo bontshwa millo le kopadi le strata le skontiri because ke bona nkare unless le kopana ka skontiri le meno a lena haloba rights Hi Vanilla Rata who staged the intervention for people that have not deserved a staged intervention. Mudimo only stage la intervention he. Le tlaibona intervention ya somandla. Ya ntate wa manete because walona montate ke wa mdubulo. Ntate walona ke ntate wa mdubulo because hatsi bi Jesu Christ. Holo rewarda ngwana oling righty abalo punisha ngwana oling wrongo. Jaka ha batswadi ba lona ba ntlogetse hore nna ke sotlege lebeling ravaz le di millennial. Ling Ravaz li Gen Z, Ling Ravaz li Gen X, li banyane li bakana, Ling Ravaz. London le Rava langutwa, Long Ravaz li Reverend Garli Gushesha go strutting. Man toilet twenting the color hanger is that Mudimo of Fika Janonga, spice of paraffin, and only bonta grand chapahuri. How only wrong. And a jacka how na le conscience in my lifing. Conscience yakwe we ignorang, o we shapanka, tabula mafu. Conscience ya ga we shapelang mzimba cause when I rata kwetsa ignore modimo o e bontsha di flames lati ignore di conscience bontate ba lona le bomme ba lona ke bomme ba motibulo bontate le bomme ba lona ke bomme ba fake ba Hong Kong ba ko China ba rekiwang ba rasa ba rekilweng ba le machining bomme ba lona ba fake ke bomtibulo because ke mo ba busy ba ignore Casey yang wana go gai on tsali busy mo atumpa ke dikhazi tse tuleng tseleng le tuletseng bomme ba teng ha ba shebana le ditlogolo tse ntse le busy tsuba matekwane ko sekolong di shebana le Karabo nang le 40 ka ofela ba busy na ba batla go cause hore ke be motho wa go accept hore intervention e stage itswe konna ne le nna bathong wa go ba innocent. I was always yena the girl wa go phasa go sekolong jaanong while the stage intervention ke na le 30 ke nka lena king. The situation kwa gae it's ke nya tawisa ne it's crazy. Their parents ke ba like I said nka batswadi ba mtubolo a se ba mannete ba tlo bona ntate wa mannete ro etsang ha motswadi a tsaya sa itela ngwana leng wrong another that on that day ga se mtubolo ga fake ga se Hong Kong ha tso China ga re kwa arasa batswadi ba bona ba mdubolo ba sa etsang the right thing le bona self jaka ga bana le batswadi ba mdubolo le bona in and of themselves ke ba mdubolo ke ba fake they are pretending mo starting gore ba right le modimo ba tshwana ba straight and narrow ke Karabo wena o tswileng tseleng o tswafa ba re nna ke a yo bathong ke le letter bathong ga thwe nna ke boatla guys nna ke a tswafa he banna ba anare la itse hore e tsaya e bo mahwate ho ira YouTube content di ura sama yo la wetsikeng le la piso fela ke go blama mo pela computer la ntlhalogang computer ya ko mmerekong le la pile ke yona ha le khona go blama mo pela computer ya ko mmerekong go basic and yet mina ke boatla. I was watching this woman on TikTok like 2 days ago talking to women, right? Yeah, talking about how it is that wait ba sa di lituletseng mo lifeng monna ke mo wa go nyala ona le 23 or ona le 24 o monyane ba go ntsha ko ntlong ya mme wa hao and you don't even have to work. A lot of women in these streets tshwantse ba lo sebetsa tshwantse ba lo etsa zaga because gunzima out there, right? When amara unkiwa straight out of your mother's house and put in a beautiful house by a man. And this dude, upon putting you in a beautiful house, then says, okay, ibam sadiche, and you don't gotta do anything. And then, how you then just gather dust. You don't decorate, you don't do anything. How is it gardening, making sure gardening? How is it next to make sure kitchen ya gago ke batla go fitla ko kitchening ke lo sheba difatuku tsa hao ana re di tlhatswitse na how sheba container ya serobos ya letswai e brown why container ya serobos ya le brown ha o check up pantry gona these things tsa mahura mafura a teng ga o phumuli mo containing cause wena o botlapa o boatla motho a teng o tshaba lo kopa metsi ko ntlong ya teng o tshaba le go kopa galase ya metsi because how tse bo ro tla ba ho floata eng mo godimo. How can I king spiritual reason behind my pel? King spiritual reason behind my fel kontlunya minaisa. Are etle ga gona spiritual reason behind my fel. Reason behind my fel ha iba no batla wetsa spiritual he ko tshore he boatla he bo spiritual o boatla. La tswafa basadi ba le fa matlo re lo phela go be monate mo lifeng banna ba teng ba de tlhokometse mara motho teng tshwantsa fika go jarateng editila garden e sa etswang go sena ke le lomo le te go gardening go sena le lomo ke le te go gardening ha gona nekese e tsang sense ha go bonagale gore mo gona le mosadi di oil stains tsa go frya mai ko pela le botala ko kitchening sense le da after 5 days ifitile yo yotlhe ke boatla. Spiritual reason behind my pele is not that motho o go loile ke gore o boatla wa tswafa. I kept on being like, hallelujah, preach, sister girl, all right. Labo taking sometimes why I but you see, that's just the thing. The world is upside down. Abo taking vele, abo buatla like that. Hibo abachata yo. Abo guy, abo bolile. They are getting some of the best women. Men who are lazy, don't want to work, don't want to pull, like lift a single finger. Ba busy ba tlhokometse ride or die girlfriends. Boatla. What is the spiritual reason behind ukuziyekela nje ulophontswa mo strateng nka wena o tsholotswe jaka dustbin ya pick it up untse o filwe everything we dingang mo lefatsheng ke boatla ke laziness. And y'all are trying to make me look like the kind of woman that does not make sure that I got plants in my garden. What the kitchen is a brown, what the fatuku is a brown ko kitchening nna ke boatla ka tsa mo botsa mme wa ka if at all nna ga ke qeta go tlhatsa dijana gona le kitchen gona le fatuku ke re A1 e nosi e brown tsa mo botsa if nna ga ke qeta go tsamaya ko stofong if gona le huranyana mo pela ke mo le boteng pela frying pan or pela stove tsa mo botsa if nna di eggshells tsa mina tsa dia blow manje fela mo kitchen counter reng or do tloswa ke motho mong tsa mo botsa if ga ke qeta go etsa mae a teng le cheese ya teng ke grater if at all ke ja while I'm eating gona le sejana ke re le say one. That's the way that I am. Do you understand? Not only do I prepare food, but I make sure that before I even sit down to eat, ha gona ke re le sejana say one mo sinking It's the reason why mewaka ang prefer in terms of sitting around mojarateng busy for the rest of my days, because I'm the one daughter that does not leave. Get late kitchen A1, not kitchen by bizang and trainer man fatuku A1, eling purple or brown or pink or orange, just depending on the food coloring for the day. I'm the one person. Okasi sing sikerlesejana say one. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mozinking after Nakesha. I'm the one person. Okasi tlogeling in Feljafela serete sa footprint on the kitchen floor. Hakikata ho walk up and down. Insofar as ke se bone serete sa teng ko se phumula la ntse ke le uncomfortable because I just washed my hands and moisturized. Ke batla go tshwara fatuku vievie. Ke nya ke batla go tshwara skoropo vievie. Mara ko se tshwara because anara ko tlogelang serete mo fatshe. Ke in a domesticated capacity, and when I was working in corporate South Africa, so lena ba sa itseng go edit a YouTube video. Kupanje fela le lo botsa any content creator mo strateng sena. Go and ask any content creator on the left and on the right, all across these streets. Jaka khale underestimate our content creation. The only reason you underestimate it is because it's a fun job. You know that saying, do what you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Humana content creator, because it is your own work. Do you understand? You are doing what you love. Mara the content creators don't do it, because they work harder even than some people in corporate. Do you have any idea what it takes to do a refined video on YouTube? A full one from beginning to end. First and foremost, record a raw footage in. And then if you are really pedantic, if you're not one of those people that just enjoy if at all you're going to be quitting your 9-to-5 job to be doing YouTube videos, chances are you invest in editing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you do the raw video that you record in your vehicle. Then you gotta refine it. You gotta put it through video editing software. If at all your software, your video editing does not have silence detection, you have to run it through silence detecting software so that you can remove silences. You must listen to it from start to finish to see if at all it's okay. If you're adding captions, you must make sure that they're accurate. You then have to go into the what do you call this? The color, the this, the that. If you want to add makeup, etc. And then only you export. Depending on how busy your video is, it could literally take you hours to edit a 10-minute video. A 10-minute video. A 10-minute video. Content creators are some of the most hardworking people that I know, especially the ones that go out of their way to do really high quality content, like people who do skits, for instance, like skits, like people like within Christendom, people like Melissa Doherty, people like Obina Edimoju, people like again Chris. Like, it takes a lot just because it's fun and people enjoy doing it so much that it feels like it's not a job at all. And it's not boring and mundane rote like a 9-to-5 job. Does not mean I'm sebenzi. When I was working at MTN, I did not work this hard. Minga sebenzi gangaga at MTN. I didn't. I promise you. I could afford to chill at a coffee shop for 15-20 minutes just gathering dust, slap bang in the middle of 2 meetings. That's not something you can afford to do. With content creation, for the first time in my eyes, I've got dark circles under my eyes every so often because of not being able to sleep, because of something that needs to be exported, something I need to do, something I need to cut, something I need to splice, etc. You cannot even go and watch these women on TikTok that do content creation videos, some makeup, the most, that do makeup videos, like what do you call this, like makeup art, like the ones who not just do a makeup tutorial or like a talking head video, but they do like a dance thing and they're singing and they have to synchronize the music with the singing, and when they turn they have to be a different shade of makeup applied. Guys, the editing involved in content creation is ridiculous. And in order to edit that 1-minute TikTok, that 1-minute short, where it is that you are waka and you've got one look and you've got one batch of makeup on the one side, it can take you an entire day. Go and ask any videographer, anybody in the entertainment industry, just how much work is actually involved in what you call a fun job. And I learned video editing and content creation because of being put in squalor. I've been put in a severity of sorrow, and I had to teach myself all of these things. I had to find the best software, given that I am poor, I am broke, I had to go and find free versions of stuff that I needed to do. And it's been hard because instead of running my content through one editor, I have to run it through multiple because I'm literally gunning for free software. Like, most video editors do not remove silences without you paying a premium. I had to go and find a silence detection software that does not, whose watermark I can always remove, and then only move it over to CapCut. Before I used CapCut, I used to be on Filmora, which is a paid plan. and it has an ugly little watermark slap bang in the center. I had to find a video editor that had all those things that I needed that is not going to give me this grief, and it took me a minute to finally find CapCut. And once I finally found it, I had to then teach myself that interface. Y'all need to understand, this here is not easy. One short, I've got these shorts that I uploaded that are going absolutely nowhere online, where I was using filters and all different kinds of things and adding sound effects and multiple voices and what have you. It would take me a good 40 minutes to do one 45-second short. A 45-second short taking me 40 minutes. Now, the copious or the voluminous amounts of video content that I have online that are going nowhere, multiply that by those 45 minutes. The volumes of work that I produce. Uploading is something that you just click upload and you wait for it to upload. But the process before then is hefty. Go and ask any content creator. So to come to me and say that and for 10 years I've been doing nothing, my CV is rough to look at, guys, you know, because I look as if for 10 years, but the amount of skills that I have gained in this time are through the roof, astronomical. It is not just the talking head videos that I do, the research, the fact that I have to watch lots of videos to then consolidate my viewpoint on what's going on in the world right now in this one space. It's just that I am unpaid for what it is that I do. I tried to monetize to no avail. This here is a travesty. Kodwa apparently mina ngibuatla. Apparently nna ke a tswafa. Gore batho ba ba re nna ke a tswafa ba ka tla ba tlwetsa mosebetsi o ko etsang ka letsatsi and see if they don't pass out before ba fetsa ke re video A1. I literally challenge you to walk a mile in my shoes, especially considering my work is unrewarded. Ngisebenzela God. That's the only reason I work so heartily as unto the Lord. I am not working for men, but for God. That's why I keep pushing. But anybody would have given up long ago to work so hard to do umsebenzi omningi kangaka, only for them to go nowhere, and then on top of that to be called by people gathering dust in corporate 9-to-5 jobs at desk, to be called by them lazy, especially considering labantu abakubiza lazy bayagazi bawutsiba awutswafi. There's no way. Mara reviling, the lies about libito la gago, yo man, how they spread in these streets like a rumor mill. They are spread fela ngare ke botoro mo borotong. They are spread ba go atswafa na re kenye kana that looks lazy kana ke na le evidence ya gore ke tswafe nna ke boatla, mara apparently nna ke motho wa difatuku tse brown. Ke motho wa go zabe ke le rose nyana A1 mo gardening. Ke motho wa go botsa gore ana re keng spiritual significance behind my phele. Ke boatla nna ke motho wa go accommodate le phele go jarateng ya me nice go kitchening je fela ga le matter across from one side of the kitchen to the next because it thinks that it's doing a relay marathon. Ke motho nje fela wa go ba agitated ka taba gore e teng da, but not actually do anything in my power to eradicate even the presence of one roach. Khatwe nna ke a tswafa significance ya maphele keng ke boatla. It is not spiritual. I've got evidence for days. Mara batho ba sa respecting, ba sa tlhompeng creative work, ba sa tlhompeng mosebetsi wa art. Batlo rona ra tswafa re penta Picasso ka feletseng over 5 days. Abatlo ro tswafa cause when you don't collect a job from sitting behind a desk in front of a laptop, go cooperating, twirling on a chair, getting a monthly salary. They call entrepreneurs lazy all the time until they break through. I bet every content creator on the internet has at some point been called lazy and irresponsible by their family members for quitting their jobs to do YouTube full time until it was so lucrative and it paid off that now finally se le respecta ngwana batho. I implore you to come and bloom, make like a flower in front of me and watch umsebenzi ngoyenza every single day, what it takes, how many hours it takes, and then continue to call me lazy. Mpitseng lazy. Tswelang pele ntse le rena ke boatla. When my mom herself can vouch for the fact that I'm the one daughter. Okay, dulang dena anza agcina le ko le kasing because ga tlo dila le kitchen nje fela maswe editshile. Nna ga ke fitile. Ha ke tswa kitchen go school, that's me. And that whole kitchen situation, that's not the only one. In everything I do, I dot my I's and I cross my T's. Kodwa mina apparently ke boatla. That level of disrespect is exactly the thing that has caused my cousins ukuthi bangithakathe thinking they can tether me kamsebetsi ona kusa batlela ubatla in the first place. Ke a forcediwa wa nkutlwa. Jwanong ke batla go gutlela teng go corporate in whatever capacity. I ke nata but just in so far as ke na le 9 to 5 mara ha ke batla sebeletsa motho wa ko heso. I ke batle anyone in my family to have access to be privy to even a single employee in the organization where I work. I don't want them knowing them. I am sick and tired of this sabotage, this backstabbing, this backbiting. I am weary of my family members treating me like I ain't jack. Ke batla go tswa ka mo le ka montle batho ba nkopanele nna for the first time and make their own decisions about me. I don't care to work for bosso e tlong borang vie jaka bagale mara ha e tlo ba motho ko heso ha go ra bazwana. If a boss wants to underestimate my work, or if a boss wants to deliberately sabotage the appearance of my prosperity, it's her prerogative. The bosses are all over South Africa. They are littered all over these streets. Mar, it has to be some stranger. Last week, it has to be a stranger, and it can ke kopa ha ebane o tlo nkhutlisa morago ko di bossing tse borang se tlo underestimating the potency of my social media content, or to act as if though to want a career of sorts in creative work is the work of laziness. Ha ebane ke tlo dila le batho ba senang tlhompho for how much effort it takes go etsa ke video e one ya ko YouTube. It's okay, re be di strange mara go dila le batho ba ntse ba nkrensha for I'm hardworking mara they busy staging interventions for me. Ba busy na ba mpitsa lazy. Ba busy ba na they're in a position to pull in a favor for me. They think they're in a position to basically dictate what a guy and no further. Bulwe, butus boys about to babe that unreasonable, guys. Witchcraft causes people to be crazy unreasonable. Ridiculously unreasonable. It makes people essentially write people off that have not had it coming, and then the world rewards them for wickedness, and that's what makes them think they can continue in this behavior. But I serve a God who rewards righteousness and condemns or punishes wickedness. And he is the creator of all things. Nothing that's ever been created has ever been created apart from him. He is the maker of the atom that is the foundation of all matter that was described in the book of Ezekiel. I serve the God who can restore Joseph to joy, even though he had a severity of post-traumatic stress from betrayal and backstabbing. I serve a God that can recover a person that looked irrecoverable. But that God is into long-suffering, patience, endurance. He's into causing you to chill. And in that time, underestimation. Anyhow, it was dying on me again. I need to get to the point. Look, I serve a God, okay? I serve a mighty God who insists upon righteousness, who will not leave any sin unpunished, who will not leave any stone unturned. He dots his I's and he crosses his T's, and he has a massive bone to pick with those who pride themselves in the fact that they've been rewarded by ill-gotten gain. Something's wrong, y'all, okay? Something is extremely wrong, and I've been praying, and all that my prayers have achieved so far is basically delaying me having to end up working somewhere that I just don't want to work, okay? The longer they delay, it's just the better. Because there is a gun to my head to do things that I don't want to do. But like, herein lies the deal. Like, you know those horrible bosses I don't want. If I don't, I'm going to endure a horrible boss. Because they come, all right? Humility is key right now. There is a whole strategy against the body of Christ to wreak havoc in our lives, in making our lives as miserable as possible where it is that we find ourselves. But I'm not going to be miserated by family, not in the workplace. Like, let it stay at home. And the thing that is most especially patronizing to me is the youth. Like, by youth, I mean my age group. Yes, I'm not that young, but Baholo have ignored Kohesu, the travesty of my case. And my cousins have just made like Doja Cat and gone to town. Yo, man, how they have just gone to town, yo. They've just gone to town with the fact that there is no discretion at all in these streets on the part of their parents. Like, the moment a parent favors the wrong kid above the right one for no other reason than the fact that it's just a choice they made, Hebatung, discipline out the window. That family is done for. There's going to be calamity as a result of disregarding that which is right and rewarding that which is wrong. When kids are not disciplined for doing wrong, they just end up wacky adults. Do you understand what I'm saying? And Goyesu, the elderly, ignored the indiscretion of my cousins at my peril, because apparently I was just one number and worth a while to ignore. The world hates disciples. As a result of their indiscretion, the dreams that I keep on getting with my the cousins, guys, the way bang loyang thing, and the buloi bateng is it's so disrespectful. It is so disrespectful. And then the thing that also pains me the most about Lobsangana, Guabo, Bonke, Mabasanyen, the thing that pains me the most about their combined insanity is that it then invites into my camp the biggest and most gargantuan, voluminous, as in singing like a canary, the way it's so mellifluous, bane of my existence. ha ona ntho e ke tlhoileng ho phala banna ba tshereaneng ba feelang nkare ba ka nka engwe le ngwe ntho mo strateng e ba ka enkang ba forcedang ba nang lenkane ba sankeng no for an answer. Ha ona ntho e ke tlhoileng ho phala mo no tshereaneng. And the indiscretion of basadi ba ko heso le banna ditwebanyana tsa di millennial tsa di Gen X late and also Gen Z ha se ke ho ntumpisa ka banna ba tshereaneng ba ke sa ba batleng ba ba gatileng teng e ba nnyontsha wa nkutlo a ke ba batle. I loathe the perversity that is encircling me, and every time my family acts in this crazy capacity with a noose around my neck to make sure that I go this far and no further. One thing. Lanka kraya 9 to 5 which I'm begging the Lord for, frankly. Ka rapela, ka rapipipi, ele ya haisal, tapelo ele ya mbokot, ka rapela day and night. Hore ke kraya mmereko. Mara ke ale ka tlhaloganya this one thing. La hanga o kraya mmereko wa teng, which I trust God will provide, avail. It will always be the side hustle. Yo kopa le tlhaloganya hore ke bitsitswe moreneng. I've been called by God. Ke na le main mission. And the mosebetsi wa gospel ke main thing. My creative work is now my main thing. There was a time when writing for Christ was a hobby. It was a side job right next to my main thing. Mara hanga kra mmereko go 9 to 5 thing. That's going to be the side hustle. I'm essentially applying for a side hustle. Ke batla side hustle. And the reason why ke bitsa side hustle is because I'm not even pedantic anymore. Ka ore wetsa lang da ko side hustling. Ha ke sana ta. Hore ke project manager, program manager, product manager, hore ke na le qualifications tse kae hore ke bereka administration or ke boss o a ke sa sbang ndaba ne corporate. You all need to understand ke tswile mo yona corporate the day in khwile nkare ke se gotlele ke tswile go corporate modimo o intshitse out of me ke sa ba lankutlo ke kubetswe mosebetsing for no other reason than taba hore ke ngwana morena Jesu and batho ha bana taba ka rona batho ba re tella telli ba tshepile hore lefatshe le rewarda wickedness lankutlo. And so because they prided themselves on getting away with broad daylight murder, having a smoking gun over the cadaver, and yet evidence yakhona ya ignorwa, ever since corporate did that to me ankaze ngirikave nyazwa ha ke soka ke tshepa ever again, ha ke soka ke sheba corporate the same way again. There was a time when ke tlhompha di rules tsa teng ke le grand ke plomile, like I was swinging on a hammer. It was so extreme with me being in corporate that I used to call myself a suit. Any other job I was like, I'm that girl. I was made for corporate. Corporate. I was always going to be tobanji wearing, like makusha wearing, wearing, and twanging, proper standing with a posture and not piercing my ears too much type chick. I was always going to be that girl. There's a reason why I didn't go crazy when I was a kid with piercing my face. Because some 9 to 5, where it is that I would be basically, by being in this thing, I would be stymied by randos with corporate wardrobe telling me stuff. So I did not pierce my nose. I didn't pierce my ears, even though I used to think it was really cool. I had this designer friend on the come up. This chick that was doing fashion design. She had like these multiple piercings. And the way they didn't mbuka teng bathong ne ke di khalakhalli ke batla le nna lo phunya ditsebe mara ke tseba hore nna ko soko officing ba tlong fa mathata. I knew even from varsity hore it doesn't matter how much you might crave piercings, don't do them because you are a suit. Karabo o tlo ntse o tlo twela mo stulong wa nkutla o tlo gola at the corporate ladder jaaka bana ba bang o apara kwae le kusha for the rest of your life. I was content. I was a suit, a happy suit. These people that lament about I want to do art, but corporate is, it is what it is. They feel stymied by corporate. Nkare ba khamiwa ba feel nkare na hore nka qala business ya ka ke be right. Guys, I was never gonna leave. Literally, you know why I loved corporate? I told you guys that when that story that I told you about my cousin Ntatwa Tenga Ntata hore ke romolata ko spread Vigo boyfriending, even though she wasn't there. I was watching Ally McBeal, y'all. And from the time I was a child, I have always just seen myself in that kind of setting. I looked up to it.